And there we go. I think we're live. Finally, took a little bit of time to come through. Welcome everybody, Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. This is my name's Cal. Excuse me. Shut YouTube up. My name's Cal, and we've got some great sevens action coming up for you now. I've got you for 6 games. Certainly the most I've ever done back to back, and I can't wait. First game, huge for this pool in Pool C. New Zealand versus Great Britain. Great Britain, surprisingly, the only unbeaten team in this pool after they beat both Ireland and South Africa. So, can they get the 3 wins of the pool and go through top? They'll be kicking off fairly soon, but we've got a bunch of games coming up after that game, and hopefully Great Britain, after we saw 2 of their, I suppose, counterparts in Union go head to head today with England losing out by 9 points to Scotland in a thrilling game where Dewey got a hat trick. Now, let's have a look here. So the games we've got coming up, obviously the first one, New Zealand versus Great Britain, and that will probably decide Pool C. Then we've got Ireland versus South Africa in an important game for both sides. They both need that win. Then we got USA versus Samoa, and I think that'll be a cracker. And Australia versus France. Will we see DuPont again? We hope so. And then the last 2, Spain versus Canada. Canada have been a bit of a dark horse in this competition. They've been doing bloody well. Not getting the wins, but they've been pushing their teams close. And then ending it off with Argentina versus Fiji. Now that's going to be the cracker. I reckon that'll be the best game of all of them. So save the best till last. Here we are, looking at the New Zealand and Great Britain teams. Currie, Dixon, Nicole, Rush, Rockelisoa, Webber, and Vi. Davies, McCann, Kerr, Glover, Ferguson, Homer, and Emmons. Homer obviously getting that overtime winning try against Ireland yesterday or last night. So hopefully Great Britain can carry on how they've been playing into this game. I'd certainly appreciate it if they would. But it is Great Britain, and I'm prone to being let down by them. So we will see how that goes. But as I say, guys, my name's Cal. Do like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, consider joining our fan club. And then check out our sponsors in BitDefender and Boyle Sports. The teams are on the field. Great Britain off the back of 2 wins against 2 probably preferred opponents. New Zealand having just beaten Ireland and losing to South Africa. So it's an open pool. It really is. Even if New Zealand win this game, it's going to be interesting to see who tops the pool and who comes second. Actually, it's so open. But the teams are out. They are getting. Rockelisoa is getting ready to kick off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Rockelisoa will get this game underway. Second last game of Pool C, and could be the decider. Rockelisoa, he goes down goes to the right-hand side, taken in by GB. GB with possession. Ferguson, no, and it's an immediate penalty off that, and it's Vi. Ferguson decides to tap and go quickly. Whipping it wide. Using the dart, and they step back in field. It's really good carrying the ball in one hand there, but he's lost it, and that is the risk of it. Rockelisoa is going to take on the defense, and he goes straight through, and Great Britain concede almost immediately. They still haven't put the ball down yet, though, as no one's really forcing him. Now it's down, and that'll be an early lead for New Zealand in this in both these teams' final game of their pool. And Great Britain will be very annoyed with that. That was far too easy for New Zealand. And that's the problem with carrying the ball in one hand. And any player that does that, you are told not to do that from school, like just grassroots rugby. And there's no excuse for that. Like, yeah, no. You shift it to one hand if in the tackle if you are free. So GB do just about field that. They knock it backwards, and it's gone everywhere. They've managed to gather it, but is there a knock-on? No, not a knock-on. There's a penalty. And Great Britain are going to concede again, and they do. And Great Britain concede 2 tries in a minute and a half, and Great Britain are going to get absolutely pumped in this game. They are playing absolute shit. absolutely awful from Great Britain, and it's McCann who knocks it backwards. Rather, he doesn't knock it backwards. It's Ferguson, I think, who knocks it backwards, or Kerr, and then McCann has to try and grab it, can't do so, and balls it up. So 14 points to nil, 2 minutes into the first half, and if Great Britain don't do something, they are going to be on the end of a spanking by New Zealand. So, third restart of the game already for Rokkelisoa. This time they change direction. They go to the left-hand side of the field, and it's a short one. And Great Britain do not field it again either. And New Zealand come away with it up to the 22. And Jesus Christ, Great Britain are shit. How the hell did they beat Ireland and the Box? And Rokkelisoa is going to go through again. It's awful tackling from Great Britain. It is 21-0 before 3 minutes have even been played. And it's actually pathetic at this point. This is just ridiculously terrible from them. And I mean, New Zealand, look, New Zealand playing brilliantly, but Great Britain are just useless at this point. Like, they've done nothing in this game. They can't get the ball because they keep bloody dropping it. Actually, you know what? It's exactly the same as the Scotland-England game. They can't bloody hold on to the ball. And 21 points to nil. 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes gone. No, not even 3.5 minutes gone. And New Zealand are 3 tries to the good. And could we see the first 50-pointer at the tournament? And you've got to think, after beating Ireland and South Africa, how do you just... Oh, and New Zealand kick deep behind all of the Great Britain players, and they finally pick it up and actually have some possession. Moving it to the left now, Great Britain. They whip it wide to their speedster on the wing, who decides to kick forwards. It's one-on-one. He's got the speed. Great Britain have got it back almost up to halfway. Homer. Great Britain looking to finally get an attack going here, and they're doing really well down this right-hand side. Glover swings it out left. That should have gone. Why did you hold the ball? And a penalty, turnover. Just awful. Just so selfish from the Great Britain players. You had 3 men outside you, and yet you take on the man. Just awful. So, New Zealand have possession and a penalty, so they're going to kick to the line. And Great Britain just relinquishing possession yet again, because they are that awful right now. It was actually building to be a really good attack, and if they just passed it, they probably could have scored. But nope, just selfish. New Zealand have a line out. Rokkelisoa goes to the top to Currie, wearing the number 1 jersey. It's a very loose pass from Rokkelisoa, but it does find the hands. And Vi's got it. He's going to step inside and take on the man. He's also running with it in one hand, but he actually keeps it. Nicole to Rokkelisoa. New Zealand looking to use their width now. Dixon cuts back in field. Almost up to halfway. Rokkelisoa looking to go, but doesn't. Currie out to the left-hand side. Vi on the wing. Gets an offload away, but New Zealand knock it on. But just sloppy defense there from GB, and they're lucky that was knocked on. And I think GB. Thing is, GB at the moment are in their bottom of the log, so they are in that relegation zone, and that means that next year we could see them totally out of top flight sevens, and that's terrible for Great Britain. I mean, at the moment they don't particularly deserve to be there, but that's what happens when you join 3 nations together. Or, yeah, 3 nations together. That were previously all powerhouses, and now they can't do it together. So it's a scrum to GB. It's been reset. With 24 seconds left on the clock, GB will need at least something to go into halftime with, if they are going to look to make a mark on this game. I reckon if they go in scoreless, that's game done for them. With the way New Zealand's playing, I know it's a game of two halves and it is sevens, and there's a penalty given away by New Zealand. Rockler Soa at the scrum, so GB are going to run it. Edens. He's got and he's not, and there's a penalty for not releasing and stripping the ball in the on the floor from the tackler. No clear release, so it's a penalty to GB. I think they'll look to kick this into close to the corner. No, maybe not. I think they're going to run it. Interesting. I would have kicked for some possession. I would have kicked to the corner and set up the line out. As it stands, they are halfway between the 50 and the 10 on New Zealand's half. Homer, switching play. Pops it off the deck, and it's Ferguson. Ferguson steps back in, steps one, gets around one, and then has to offload to Homer. Homer's going to try and break the line. He does so. Homer's going through. He can't get there. He's offloaded it to Ferguson. Ferguson gets it off the back of a hand of a New Zealander that's come off, and GB will score in the corner to take at least some points into halftime, and that's good from GB. They needed that, and it's Austin Emmons, the fiery redhead, and my God, that is a redhead. With the score in the corner, quite a bit of fortune here off Homer's offload. It did come back off a New Zealand hand, and Ferguson gathered before offloading, and then it was just chip it wide and make sure you put the ball down. So at least Great Britain do go into halftime with something. Ferguson can't convert, so it'll be 21 points to 5. And I have a feeling Great Britain might get back into this game, but they will be ruining those 3 just consecutive tries, just back to back to back. And that was one of the worst starts I think I've seen in top flight sevens. That was just horrific to watch. Like, it was kickoff, mistake, try, kickoff, mistake, try, kickoff, penalty, try. I mean, look at that. GB. Oh, no, they both missed 4 tackles. New Zealand have 4 restarts, though. That's the difference. Compared to GB 0. So hopefully GB can turn it around. Excuse me, in the second half, and put in a better performance in the second half than in the first, because that was a fairly miserable first half for them. But good for them that they did get some points on the board in this first half. So teams are back on after the brief halftime interval, and I guess now we'll see what happens. I think it'll be GB will be kicking off for the second half. There's the South Africa, and there's captain of Ireland Kennedy, and the South African team walking on, getting ready for their game coming up in about 11 minutes. Great Britain kick off. They go shallow to that right-hand side. New Zealand do rise high and take it well through Vi. They're on the 10-meter line. New Zealand looking to use the width. Coming all the way up. No, they decide to take it up the middle now this time. And it's Rush. Held up by Emmons before he gets his knee on the ground, so has to release. New Zealand bringing it back to this left-hand side. Hitch kick from Nicole. And there's a slight high tackle. Nothing cynical or anything, but a slight high tackle. And there'll be a penalty to New Zealand. See, as it stands with the game at the moment, It takes New Zealand on top of the pool, both with 6 points. But also South Africa could do that as well, and then it comes down to points difference. And at the moment, that means South Africa go ahead because England's sorry, Great Britain's points difference is -8, whereas South Africa is in I think in the positive. Um, or they're like they're on 0, so that if as long as they win, they'll go through, and Great Britain will go out. So Great Britain need to close this gap. New Zealand go to the top to Currie, Rokalasoa. Weber tries to go through. Rokalasoa again, referee almost getting in the way. Vi, New Zealand going back, but in sevens that doesn't mean a lot if you're good enough. It gives you more space. A lot of oh, it's a horrible pass from the Kiwi straight into touch. Awful pass from the Kiwi, and that does give Great Britain a decent attacking platform in a decent place in the Kiwi half. That was an awful pass. Let's see. New Zealand's defensive success. Opponent 22 visits, 11. Opponent tries, 6. Try denial efficiency of 45%. Barreto is on. He'll speed this game up for GB. And I think they've made a couple of changes, actually, of GB. And GB lose their own line out. Because, of course, they do. Let's see. So, New Zealand attacking down this right-hand side. And then there's a penalty for another high tackle from GB. So, New Zealand will have another penalty. Sub Rokalasoa is going off. I can't see who's come on for him. It's number 24. Double barrel surname. Can't see who it is, though. New Zealand moving it left. Nice little switch there. Trying to get it to Vi on that wing. They're up over halfway. GB get the penalty. They're going to tap and go. Nope. Referee brings him back for not on the mark. GB have 4 minutes to either to score some tries, close this deficit, because if South Africa win, they're out. So the best thing that GB can do is get within 7 or win, obviously, but get within 7 because then they'll stay top of the pool. So Currie is back on. No, sorry, it's not. It's what's his name? Oh god, he's been around for ages. Sorry, I can't even remember his name. GB are gonna go. Finally allowed to go after all those subs are made. They do a switch, bringing it back to the right. Glover's gonna take off. No, he decides to get rid of the ball, and it's an awful pass from the GB number 11, Emmers. GB decide to kick over the top. It's not going to work out for them. But I think they're going to come back for a penalty. New Zealand, I think, might get a yellow card here for a slap down, and they will. New Zealand are going to get a yellow card, although that looked red, to be honest. So, Team G, yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, but yes. Waddleton when trying to get his pass away. So, GB have a man overlap. Now they need to make these 2 minutes count, like big time. Go! All right, so GB looking to move it left. Just use your numbers and don't run into each other. My God, you have numbers, you useless people. Oh, Jesus. Professional players and they can't simply not run into each other. Like, come on. Unbelievable. But anyway, so it'll be a knock on and scrum to New Zealand. The only good benefit with this is it's 3 minutes to go and well, that's a whole minute of the yellow card gone. But Great Britain have an extra man in defence. But okay, it's so it's a minute 30 left on Russia's yellow card. There's a penalty to New Zealand at the scrum. And Great Britain absolutely just ruining their chances here. If Ireland beat South Africa, Great Britain still go through to get thumped by whoever they play in the quarterfinals. But we'll see. There's still still 2 minutes 15 in this game. There's something could change. So New Zealand throw to the front of their line out. They do get possession back. Vi is going to try and take it up the midfield. Is brought down. New Zealand are going to try and hold on to this possession until they've got the yellow card back. Dianganofo is through the middle, through it one tackle, but then brought down on the right-hand side near the touchline. Weber stepping. Bit of crossing there, but he was allowed to play on. Weber's gone through, he offloads. Another offload, and New Zealand, with a man down, are going to score. And that pretty much sums up Great Britain and just how poor they are. And Sam Dixon scores his 100th try for New Zealand. For the All Black Sevens, Sam Dixon scores his 100th try, and that's a nice little touch there from him. But that was just, again, awful defense from GB. Like, you've got a man overlap. Why are you running out of people against a 6-man team? I think this Team GB's communication is shocking. They do not communicate at all. New Zealand do not manage to convert, so that's a 21-point lead. The only thing now is GB have to hit twice within this time, and it's not going to happen. No, they're going to punish him down the end of the field, and Team GB drop it and pick it up. So GB are going to rely on the other result now. All they needed was a losing bonus point, and they can't even get that now. They're looking to get turned over here. Nope. He has to pick up on side. Offside at the ruck. Barreto decides to go quickly. Great Britain moving it to the left. Or not, because they don't like passing. I forgot. Sorry. Emmers. Waddleton. Steps 1. And then is tackled by 2. Waddleton just seems really slow. Emmers decides to step inside and then passes straight into touch. And that pretty much sums up Great Britain for you. That's the end of the first game of the streaming tonight. 26 points to 5. New Zealand top Pool C. And Great Britain now hanging the balance of the South Africa versus Ireland game, which I think is up next. Yep. And we will quickly cross